when you did do this practice, how many hours a day are we talking about?
When I was young, a lot of times I would practice before I went to school. So I'd be up at 6, I'd practice for an hour, and then I'd probably put in another 2 to 3 hours when I came home from school.
2 to 3 hours.
Usually.
And schoolwork on top of that.
Yeah.
So the schoolwork would add some more hours to your day.
Yeah, well, I'd come home from school and I'd usually do homework as soon as I got home. I just liked doing it because everything was still kind of fresh in my mind, and I enjoyed sitting at the table by myself. And of course, I was maybe the only kid in my class. I would do homework to jazz music. I was always listening to music.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
always. I mean, and my family had to eat breakfast and dinner, accompanied by jazz music.
Okay.
And that was kind of a form of practicing as well, even though I didn't count that in my daily hourly count of practice time. But I liked practicing. I mean, I enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't like, oh, I have to practice. I mean, I really looked forward to coming home so I could play.
Well,
I mean, just think of it. Sorry to interrupt, but just think of it. You know, that's even when we go out the door of our home to work. What do we say? Well, I'm going to go play now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So that's why I said we're a lot of musicians, especially drummers. We're kind of like kids our whole life because it's playtime. I mean, it really is fun. We have a lot more fun than most people.
Oh boy. What were you like in high school?
Well, my local high school only had a marching band at the time, and I was pretty nervous about going there. It didn't seem like the place where I wanted to go to school. And we found out about a high school that was up in the northern woods of Michigan, a place called Interlochen. And Interlochen was famous for many years for their summer camp program. But just about 4 or 5 years before we looked into it, they had started a winter boarding school, high school. And around the time that we heard about this place, Life magazine came out. And Life magazine was a very popular magazine back in the day. And it was a large magazine, and it had a lot of photographs. And there were page after page of photographs of these high school kids at this camp, in symphony orchestras, in ballet classes, doing the regular academics, but the theater program. And this was like, wow, heaven on earth. So I applied to the school, got accepted, and was in a high school of just under 400 students, and they were all really serious about what they did. So I went from being like I was the one serious kid in my town about music.
Did you hear that, America? He went to a high school with 400 kids?
Yeah, and Interlochen, the Arts Academy, they now call it the Interlochen Center for the Arts, is still thriving, alive and well. When you can go to a place that's such a strong magnet, and it attracts like-minded people as yourself, and people that have a passion for what they did. There were some kids there that hadn't quite figured out what they wanted to do yet, and we were all friends, but you really wound up connecting with the other people who were just as passionate as you were about what you did, and so the level of achievement as well as the level of competition was quite high, and in order to stay kind of afloat there, you had to put in the work. I mean, so we had private instruction, we had lessons, we had to practice for that, we had to practice for the parts that we played in the symphony orchestra. And the orchestra, when I was going to school there, it was as good as any university orchestra at the time. I mean, it was astoundingly good, and most of those musicians are all playing major symphonies today.